Hi, so I'm Richard West and I've been invited by the Photographer Academy today to talk to you about setting up your camera capture workflow, giving you an opportunity to control your colours and really put you into control of those colours such that you know when you're shooting something, that's the way it's going to come out. The starting point for that is actually shooting a known target. Now, Datacolor produce a chart which, as you can see here, this is the Spyder Checker chart. It's a target basically that folds away and should be popped into your camera bag and taken out every time you shoot in a different lighting condition. The intention of it is it gives you 48 plus target colors here. It comes with some software, both Mac or PC, doesn't matter which, and that software knows what each of those values of the color chart are, and therefore you can shoot it in the different lighting conditions, read the colors with the software that comes with it, and create a little preset or a calibration factor that allows you to adjust your image capture and calibrate that basically to make sure you're getting those colors correct. So the device is tripod mountable. There's a little screw thread at the bottom there. And if you happen to have the companion product, which is the Spyder Cube, that can go and be mounted on the top of the Spyder Checker as well, basically. So when you're shooting this, basically shoot it and try and get the lighting coming in 45 degrees to the Spyder Checker. Shoot it, and nowadays with things like Lightroom, you can actually adjust for any not straight on shot basically, but try and get it as vertical to your shot as possible. Big benefit of this is the size, because if you're shooting perhaps group scenes or landscapes, you need something that's going to be big enough to be able to hit from a distance. So therefore we need to be able to say, okay, if I pop this into my workflow, basically I'm out there taking a photo shoot, and maybe I've got multiple lighting conditions. Classic example is wedding photography, where you're shooting in a church, you're shooting at a reception in a different type of lighting, and maybe shooting outside as well. You need to pop this out and just shoot it in each of the lighting conditions, because you could get a different sort of cast to the lighting in all those areas, and that of course will affect not just the white point but the whole range of colours. And with this you can control and set or calibrate for all of those set of colours. So basically tripod mount it, or just get somebody to hold it, or just lean it somewhere where you can shoot it. And it doesn't have to be at the start of the workflow. You don't have to get, if in that wedding situation, you don't have to get the bride to hold it. Basically just get it into the lighting conditions at some point. So that could be after the photo shoot you've been doing, or before, or during if there's a gap in the proceedings. So there we go, that's what I'm going to be aiming to do. And what we'll do here is we'll show you bringing that into the joys of Lightroom. So here we've been out and we've taken a photograph of the Spyder Checker. One of the key things with the shooting of it, we need to be able to crop down the image of the Spyder Checker. So here I've taken a photo of the Spyder Checker in the lighting conditions, cropped it down so pretty much I've just got the actual chart in view on the window. And I'm in Adobe Photoshop Lightroom here, so I'm just going to pop into the Develop module basically in Lightroom, because that's where we got the opportunity. First and foremost, we need to set our white point and make sure we're taking out any major cast across the whole of the image. So we're going to use the color or the white point picker here, and just choose the second square down, which would be E2 if you could see that. Unfortunately, I've cropped that just a little bit too tight on there, but choose that square there. And that's going to immediately take out any cast there might have been. I don't think there was a particularly strong cast in this. It was no particular lighting problems. And then I'm going to use the histogram here. Under the histogram, when I hold over the picture, you can see that there's numbers pop up, and that gives us a reading of the values for the different squares here. Now, fortunately, you don't have to go through and read every single square. But what we would like you to do is just first of all check out the highlight. So this is a 96% white square, and as you can see, the readings there on the right-hand side show us that it's pretty much 96%. If it was out from that, you'd use the exposure slider to just alter that to get to somewhere around 96%. And then pop down here, and this should be somewhere around a 4% black. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit too low at the moment, so just going to pop that back up there to somewhere around, actually resetting the slider there, so somewhere around, actually maybe a bit too far. There we go. Well, we'll call that close enough. So somewhere in the range of 4% there. We won't get spot on for this, but you get the gist. Now that's the only thing you have to do manually as far as this process is concerned. From there on in, we're just going to go to the Photo menu within Lightroom, drop down to Edit In, and basically go into the software that comes with the Spyder Checker, and that's the Spyder Checker app. So just pop that open. Here you can see I'm just going to be creating a new version of the file in Lightroom, and once that's popped open, it's got to first of all check to see if there's any updates, because the software likes to keep you up to date. But we're online, we've just checked out that there are no updates there. And so basically what we've done is we've opened up that file, the one we shot. Just about see my colleague's thumb on the bottom right hand side, as you know, it's the same shot you saw before. And over that, the thing I'm picking up now and moving around is the software's selection of colours for the same squares, the ones that it knows the values of, basically. So all we need to do is just align those with the squares in there. Just make sure they're sitting on top of the relevant squares there, so just in case you haven't been able to hit that target totally square on, you can just move that around. And then we can save our preset will now automatically be created as soon as we hit Save Calibration, and that will create that calibration factor. We can save that into multiple different softwares. Now I've come out of Lightroom here, so I'm going to save it to Lightroom. Could be working in Adobe Camera Raw within Photoshop, or we could be working in Hasselblad Focus. But basically, if I hit that Save Calibration button, that will create that profile, it's not really an ICC profile, but that calibration factor there, a preset in this case, and allow you to be able to apply that to multiple shots that have been taken in that same lighting condition. We've got a couple of nuances here, so if you are shooting more saturated work, perhaps you're doing pack photography, you could give this just a slight saturated hint or nuance towards the more saturated colours. So that's what we're doing here is we're creating the colour curve for the image, and so therefore we could just choose that more saturated version. Colorimetric is more neutral, and portrait is just giving a bit of a bump towards the skin tone coloration range. But I'm going to leave it on colorimetric there. I'm going to hit Save Calibration, and that's going to give us the opportunity to give it a name. So we're going to call that Tuesday. We'll make that all uppercase, shall we? Tuesday. And we'll try and spell it right this time. Third time lucky. Cal. Of course, the more importantly, when you're shooting on location, it'd be more relevant to give it a name like outside, inside, and the day and the time, for instance, would be relevant as well. Click on OK, and that's saved the calibration, basically. A little nuance of Lightroom is the fact that you can see here I've got some Tuesday profiles already, or presets already set within the software. However, in order to actually update the presets within Lightroom, you just need to quit out and restart Lightroom to go import that preset. In this case, I think we'll just show you effectively one that we've prepared earlier. So here's a Tuesday 1 preset. So click on that, you can see how that's just slightly tweaking the colors on that guide there. So, and also if you look at the thumbnail here on the top left-hand side, as I scroll over the other presets we've already created, you can see, in particular in those more saturated colors, how that's affecting the color chart there. But if I choose now a selection of images that were shot in this particular lighting condition and just apply that Tuesday 1 calibration to it, you're seeing a very slight effect there, because as I said, there wasn't a dramatic cast to the shots we were doing that day. So perhaps if I choose a more saturated setup, you're going to see some more bump to the colours there. It may be difficult for you to see online, basically, but there is a definite shift there, and you probably saw that more evidently with the rolling over of the guide itself. So back on that wedding scenario, basically, when we've got the opportunity to shoot the bride and groom, for instance, in the church, and also perhaps in the reception or in the outside shots, the group shots outside. As long as you've taken a shot of the Spyder Checker in each of those 3 areas, in those 3 lighting conditions, and effectively you've created a preset for each of those 3 different parameters, then just apply the relevant preset to the relevant group of images, and that's going to linearize across. So where you might be getting in the church somebody looking a bit cooler or a bit bluer, and some, maybe the dress might be affected in that way, or in the reception it might look a bit warmer, it will actually take that tint, that cast out of all the colours there, and give you that opportunity to linearize across the lot. So hopefully that's given you more control of how you can work in your environment. Top tip, it's actually got a built-in fade checker here, so you've got a little window here that's opening up onto the same area on the card underneath. There's an equivalent red square here on this side of the card. This card, by the way, both cards are removable, so you can take these out. You can also use the grey card on the back here. But the intention is to say, okay, let's check whether it's fading, because it could do over time, but I have to say it would probably need to be a substantial amount of time left out in bright sunshine. But if you do see a change between this little red square that's been exposed to the light as much as the rest of the chart has been, and the one that hasn't, then if there's a difference there, that means that obviously the chart has faded and it's time to get the replacement cards in there, but they're freely available from all your Datacolor stockists. So there we go. Hopefully that's given you more control of your color in your capture environment and really getting you into an empowered situation. Another top tip, you don't even need to be able to see colors. You could be colorblind and be able to use this to linearize and control those colors as well. So big boon across all of our abilities to capture images and get them looking good.